Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study. It's fresh and delicious, artisanally made just for you. It's what we like to call the Bible Bistro. Come on in. Sit down. We're going to look at verses 9, 10, and 11 today in Psalm 32. Hasn't this been a wonderful psalm? And I have just barely scratched the surface. This is one of those scratch and sniff psalms because I have just barely scratched it, and the wonderful, beautiful, bountiful aroma of Psalm 32 has come wafting up, hasn't it? And can you imagine what more you could get if you just crushed this psalm down a little bit more with meditation, with study, if you looked at the words more carefully? I encourage you to do that. Take time with Psalm 32. Go back over it and allow it to invade your thoughts. Today, we're going to be in 9, 10, and 11. And remember yesterday, or last time, yesterday, we had a different voice show up in verse 8. The Lord said, "No, I'm going to be the one to instruct you. I will be the one to guide you. I'm going to give you counsel with my eyes." So the Lord's showing us His way. He's saying that to us. Now His voice still continues as we read verse 9. "Do not be like the horse or mule, which have no understanding. With a bit and bridle they are controlled, unless they come near to you. Many are the paths of the wicked, but those who trust in the Lord, mercy surrounds them. O righteous, rejoice in the Lord and be glad. So ring out a cry of joy, all you upright in heart." All right, I misread my own translation. Isn't that something? Verse 9, "Do not be like horse or mule, which have no understanding. With a bridle and harness they are controlled." I said bit and bridle. It's bridle and harness. They are controlled. Do not be like the horse or mule. So suddenly we have, again, this is the Lord's voice. He's instructing us, and He's saying, don't be like this. So the like this now is a similitude. Don't be like horse or mule. Okay? And you know what? Sometimes I think I'm like a mule. Sometimes I think I'm like a horse. I'm stubborn, I'm prideful, I want to do things my way, and I'm not quite broke yet. So if I don't have that bridle and harness on, there's no telling what I might run over. So the Lord says, don't be like that. And notice what He goes on to say in verse 9. They have no understanding. You see, if you want instruction, if you want guidance, there's a place for that. And the Lord's the one to give it, because He says in verse 8, I'm going to give you instruction. I'll give you counsel. I'll guide you with my eye. But the horse and the mule, no, they don't understand because they don't have that. We do, but sometimes we act like we don't. Sometimes we act like horse and mule. Sometimes we have to have the bit. Sometimes we have to have the bridle and the harness, you see. If they didn't have it, well, they would just do damage. Now we come to verse 10. Verses 10 and 11 conclude the psalm, and you can hear the voice of the psalmist again here in verse 10. "Many are the pains of the wicked, but those who trust in the Lord, mercy surrounds them." Now, isn't that exactly where we started off in verses 1 and 2? "Blessed is the man whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered." That's it. Why is that? Why has that happened? Not because of law keeping, not because of good deeds, not because of anything that they've done. It happened because mercy surrounds. Verse 11, "O righteous, rejoice in the Lord and be glad." You see, a minute ago he was telling the righteous to make sure they did that crying out thing, that they confessed all their sin. Now, after that is done, there's nothing left but rejoicing. There's nothing left but being glad. There's nothing left but the joy, the cry of joy. So ring out a cry of joy. I hope you, this weekend, upright in heart, will go to your local church and ring out a cry of joy to the Lord in corporate worship. Join me again next time. We're going to be looking at the first part of Psalm 33 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.